Right.
Appreciate you coming in, Coach. So
Sure.
You came here to be an assistant, and you end up thrust into a full-time role. Can you talk about that transition last year and how that worked out?
First of all, I really appreciate the opportunity. Coach Smart gave me the opportunity to come back to my alma mater, to here to Georgia, to live in Athens. It's been an awesome experience, obviously. But unfortunate situation with Coach Cochran and handling that, and certain was ready to step on the field and do. I've asked players as a head coach and a coordinator and a position coach for a lot of years to do the best job you can in your role in the organization. And when I was an analyst, I wanted to do the best job I could do to be an analyst. I was asked to be the special teams coordinator and work with the safeties and stars. Then that's what I was do the best job I can do there, and that's the way I've always approached things in your role in the organization, and do the best job I can do for Coach Smart.
Yeah, Will, you got two freshmen back there at safety and Malachi. Just what have you seen from them so far in fall camp, and what is their potential, I guess, in terms of being a safety or a star?
Well, right now we're training both of them to be safeties. Marcus Washington's also another young man that's playing star position, but all three of those guys are good young players. Obviously, Malachi and Ja'Cory have benefited going through spring, so they have a little bit better understanding of practice organization, schematically things we do, and that'll come with Marcus. But both are going to be really good players. When that happens, I don't know. We're only in practice 5 in training camp. So it's very early to tell on anything, but I'm really excited about both players.
Switching over to the outside linebackers, you got a few guys with very high acclaim. Well acclaimed. Can you tell me a little about Marvin Jones Jr. and Michael Williams?
Well, both guys, again, we're in practice 5. So excited about both guys. Both guys have some twitch. They both have pass rush ability. We're going to be first time in full pads today. And that's actually how you play the game nowadays, in full pads. So we'll know a lot more as we continue to move forward, but I'm glad both of them are at the University of Georgia.
Well, I'm not sure if you've ever been a co-coordinator or co-position coach or anything during your career, or even had it.
I've been called a lot of things, but you go ahead, whatever you want.
How is that playing out on a daily basis and relationship with Glenn as you guys work to make keep the standard for the
Absolutely. I knew of Glenn, but I didn't really know Glenn till last year, and had a wonderful working experience with he and Dan and Trey Scott. And obviously Coach Smart is on the defensive side of the ball a lot. But we had a really good rapport as far as what we needed to do to be successful, and there's nothing's going to change with that. We have a great working relationship. Glenn's promotion, in my opinion, is very well deserved. He's an outstanding football coach. He's extremely bright. He has a great rapport with his players. And you really look at Coach Smart's going into the 7th season here at Georgia. The 2 longest tenured coaches are Glenn and Dale McGee. And you really look over those 7 years, consistency of their position groups probably is the best that's been here in those 7 years. Arguably, I'm sure that's different years, but his position's been very productive. Recruited extremely well at his position. He's just an outstanding football coach. He has a very good understanding of what we do defensively, how we adjust things out, and he's always looking for a better way to do it, and always researching those things and what can we do to get better in those situations. I really enjoy working with Glenn just because of the intelligence, the football intelligence he has, and the passion he brings the job every single day, because those things are really important, and the players see that, and they understand how invested he is in them.
In terms of just walking around this building every day since you've been here, what's it like just running into Kirby in the hallway, running into Bobo, what's it like having all these Georgia guys back on a staff on the national championship?
Well, that's great. I mean, it's again, I appreciate Coach Mark giving me the opportunity to be here. Obviously, I think Mike's a great addition for us. Brian McClendon's a great addition for us. Todd Hartley, another Georgia graduate. All of those guys are guys that I'm more familiar with. Coach Smart and Coach Bobo and Coach McClendon. Getting to know Todd in the last year, the guy's an outstanding football coach. But all of those guys have a vested interest in the University of Georgia. Not that we didn't know other places, but at the end of the day, this is where you went to school, and certainly glad to be here. But I enjoy working with people. Because I told the players one night when I was talking to them, we spend more time with you guys and our coaching staff than we do our own families. I'm not proud to say that, but this is not a job. It's a lifestyle. That's what it is. And so you like to be able to spend time with people you enjoy being around, and we certainly do. And I credit Coach Smart and the staff that he's hired. There's people in the building that you enjoy coming to work because you like what you do, but you also like the people you're working with, and that's important.
How neat is it to be so close to your brother?
Yeah, he is.
Just how close is that relationship been since you got to get out of state?
Well, our entire family. My brother Pat's in Rome. My mom's in Mentone, Alabama. My father passed 7 years ago, last May. But family's important. My wife's family's in Thomaston, Georgia. So it's the first time in our career we've been close and been able to get back and see everybody. And we're a very close knit family. So that's awesome.
Well, just coming off your experience as a head coach, even going back to last year, was there much of an adjustment for you stepping back into
No.
that role, and just what's that been like now with the focus?
No, I really think that, number one, I credit, again, Coach and the staff of the young men we've recruited. I mean, we've got a really good group of young men that we enjoy coaching. Like I mentioned earlier about working with the staff, working with a head coach that philosophically you are aligned with, of what you want or how you need to practice, the type players you're looking for in recruiting, how you want to play middle field coverage, how you want to play split safety coverage, how you want to play pattern match. Not to say that we agree on everything, we don't, but that's healthy. It's healthy to not agree. And so, again, what is your role in the organization? Do the best job you can in the role you have. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. It's real simple. So I love my role. I told my wife the other day, I think I got the best job in America. And at the end of the day, the room that I have, that I'm honored to coach, the young men in that room, to be at the University of Georgia, to see our future as we continue to unfold and move forward, I'm really excited about it.
Hey, Will, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Being that you go against these guys, you see these guys every day, what's the biggest problem the tight ends are going to give opposing defensive coordinators?
Right. Well, I just think it's just, obviously the matchup issues you have. You saw the season that Brock had last year. Very difficult cover. Really good with his body and his balance to be able to bounce off people. Outstanding hands. Darnell's a guy that's really difficult as far as just his length is concerned. And I think the combination of those things are very difficult to deal with. And then we've got some really good players past those guys. So, and I think Todd and our offensive staff do a great job of, putting them in positions to be successful in the offense as far as, really gearing things toward their skill set, and what they do well. And so difficult to defend, I think, number one, from just a football player standpoint, because it's not necessarily all about the scheme. It's about the players. And then putting them in a position to be successful, and then those guys taking advantage of those situations as players.
That's actually stole my question. I was going to ask you, as a defensive coordinator, when you go ones versus ones, what it's like to face, Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers. But let me get your thoughts on face when you defend Stetson Bennett. What does he bring to you?
Well, I think, Stetson's really smart, number one. I think he knows where to take the ball based on coverage. Really, really smart as far as football intelligence is concerned. He's a really good athlete. He runs extremely well. So you've got to defend his legs as well, and he throws the ball extremely well. So I think that's a very good combination at the quarterback position to have. And obviously, going into last season, that you see a guy that really persevered through, maybe not being where he wanted to be, but continued to work to be where he wanted to be. And you got to give him a lot of credit.
When you have a lot of turnover on defense, how do you go about, especially during camp, building up that camaraderie?
Well, I think as a staff, that's something we've been really cognizant of making sure that, just creating the best version of each of those young men every single day. And continue to develop leadership, continue to develop the mental and physical toughness that you're going to need to have in our league to play and to be successful. We understand what good looks like around here. We also understand what elite looks like around here. And the standard doesn't change. The standard's the standard that's been set by the head football coach, and our players and our staff understand that.
Hey,
I was just wondering, what does Fran Brown bring to this university, given his background is pretty different from every other coach in the staff? What is the relationship like with him as the quarterbacks coach in the league?
It's outstanding. Fran is a great person to work with, from Camden, New Jersey. Got an interesting story as he's grown up through this. But again, another guy that's got a great rapport with the players, but a joy to work with as far as ball is concerned. Wants to talk about our scheme, our system. Sometimes this scheme is very difficult for a first year in the scheme coach, but a guy that's he's got it very diligent, great work ethic, and it is a joy to work with the guy. I mean, the guy has been awesome. He's done a great job for us recruiting and representing us in a first-class manner. I'm really excited about his future here at Georgia.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Chris Smith the other day, and
Yeah.
he talked about helping Ja'Cory and Malik.
Yeah.
Do you not only have a super senior like that come back, a guy you can trust, but also a guy that's willing to work with?
No doubt, and that's so important. And Chris is a very, very intelligent ball player and a person. But he's Chris has been coached very well, Coach Smart. He understands and knows the system very well. To have a guy that's able to lend a hand to young players, because sometimes I think, as coaches, as I've gotten older, our stuff falls on deaf ears after a while. And to be able to have a player sit down with an older player sit down with a younger player, that's vitally important for your progress and development of a young player. And I saw it last night. Billy Poole grabs Marcus Washington, and I'm trying to explain something to Marcus, and Billy goes, "Coach, I got it." Which Bill Poole graduated 2 days ago, so that's a heck of a deal too. But when you see those sort of things, again, they get tired of Coach Muschamp sometimes, but they'll listen to a peer, and that's really, really important to have as you kind of continue to work your way in the program and the culture that you create. And again, I credit Coach Smart and the staff for that.
Can I piggyback on this question with another safety? You being a North Georgia guy, how neat is it to see Dan Jackson come to
Sure.
last year? And what does that mean? What does a guy like that mean to the program?
He's the second best walk-on safety in Georgia history, I think. Figure out who the first one was. But finish your question. What was the last part?
What does that mean? What does a guy like that mean for the program?
Well, everybody loves Dan. The guy is his approach to his craft, to his improvement. Well, he has made tremendous improvement in my time here at Georgia, not because of me, because of him and his work ethic and his approach about doing the things and addressing the things he needed to improve on. Huge block punt, this past year against Arkansas, huge momentum swing in the game. And then when Chris got banged up late in the year, and then in our dime package, as we continued to evolve in the secondary as the year wore on and we got a little better, his role was huge as far as those things were concerned. But I think, you talk in terms of just respect the team, the guy's garnered a lot of respect amongst his teammates and certainly his coaching staff.
Take 2 more questions.
Well, I'm talking about the line, some of the guys we don't know much about because they were playing behind some really good players last year. Can you tell us a little bit about Nazir Stack and Tyrion England Dawkins?
Well, Nazir's a guy, again, we're 5 days into camp and we're putting full pads on today. So we'll learn a lot more about these guys. We don't really change how we practice. Certainly continuing to build the consistency you have up front. Trey Scott does a phenomenal job with our defensive line and the development of our defensive line, because some of those guys weren't really high-ranked recruits when they came in here, and they got developed to. I think Trey's as good a defensive line coach I've ever worked with. So I'll put Ty and Nas and our entire room in Trey's hands and let him develop those guys as we continue to move forward. But I've seen improvements drastically in my time with Nas and obviously Ty. Last fall a little bit, but he made huge strides in the spring, and we got to continue. We got to get a lot better. I do know that. And especially at that position, how critical that is, and the number of snaps we lost in our front seven. We've got to continue to take strides forward.
Coach, obviously, Kirby's a pretty modest guy. Hard to get him to talk about himself, but that knew him way back, that played a big role in his career, whether it was Valdosta or LSU.
Yeah.
What did you see in Kirby then, one? And two, you've seen George on the outside from every darn angle there is. What has he brought here that's separated this?
Well, I think that, first of all, you see a guy that's a great competitor. He's a fierce competitor. And that goes way beyond his coaching days. That's Noontime Basketball Association at Valdosta State. And we almost got in several fights. But But we've matured since then. But no, he's a great competitor, extremely bright, does a great job with the players as far as relating with the players, motivating the players, continuing to challenge himself, to challenge our staff and our football team on a daily basis for a very high standard. He's got an element of toughness about himself, of knowing what it takes to be successful in our organization and in this league, a great understanding of our league, which I think is a huge part of being successful. You either adapt to what happens in our league. The football stuff's different. I'm talking about recruiting. I'm talking about all the different things that go into being successful in this league. And he certainly has done that and has done a phenomenal job here at Georgia. But a guy that, all around from a staff standpoint, from a roster management standpoint, and the elements of toughness that what we've got to do to be successful. Again, I could probably count on one hand the amount of maybe not so good practices we had last year. Now, that's a lot of credit to our young men on our team because of the leadership and things like that, but that's also the culture that's been set of how we're going to practice at Georgia. You go to a Tuesday practice here, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, that's the way you're supposed to get after it, and it's the way you're supposed to go after it, but it's what it's expected. It's what's set from the top all the way down within the organization, and it's understood that's the way we're going to do things. So, again, I credit him with that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.